North Korea is the hardest country in the world to escape.
Not hard enough. This guy escaped twice.
And there are even terrible penalties for family members left behind in the event of a successful escape.
You know, that's one of the misconceptions sorts of people have, right? Like if you escape North Korea and like your family is gonna get like, captured and killed, you know, and that's a misconception, you know, because that did not happen to me and to my half-brothers, right? So for example, when I first got captured and sent back to North Korea, a lot of you guys actually think that, oh, like if you get captured and sent back, like why didn't you die? Because you don't. Like your family don't really get, you know, punished. My broker's sister, right? Her name is Kim Dan-bi, and she was in the South Korean TV show called Imangap, which is Now We Go to Meet You. It's a show, and she was on there for a while, but she escaped North Korea twice as well. So she escaped North Korea when she was a child, and then she got captured and sent back, and you know her family didn't get in trouble until she went to South Korea and started appearing on that show. Her family didn't get killed. They were from Hesan, but they were exiled from Hesan, right? Getting exiled, in North Korean term, we call it chubang. Exile is especially bad because you're being exiled to middle of nowhere. So Hesan, right, is it's a border town, right? So it's one of the richest town in North Korea. I mean, you have life there. Like you have your life there, but it would suck, right? One day, you're just being deported to middle of nowhere. Literally, I'm not saying, oh, middle of nowhere. It's like, oh, it's like some Midwest town, you know, it's like, no, it's like literally there's like no neighborhood and miles, and there's like maybe like one house, and you have to do everything by yourself. And also my grandfather, right, he was in Pyongyang and he helped write national anthem of North Korea, and because he was influenced, right, he was heavily influenced by foreign culture. Kim Jong-il didn't like that. He exiled my grandfather from Pyongyang, right? He held high studies to Changjin. People struggles to make ends meet there, and he was casted there with nothing, right? So yeah, getting exiled sucks. So that's one of the misconceptions that people have, is that once North Korean defector escapes North Korea, the family get killed. No, that's not the case, but that is still true, and it applies to North Korean defectors who decide to stand up against the regime. And that's why generally North Korean defector chooses to stay silent, because you know they have to take care of, like they have to make sure that their family are safe. So not all of the North Korean defectors' family are gonna get killed. Yeah, my half brothers are safe because they're Chinese, and worst thing could happen to them is actually getting deported to China.
First way would be to go directly to South Korea. Although it is close, it is one of the most militarized places in the world and would be almost impossible to get through.
That's right, miles and miles of landmines, right? And the security is really tight. So I don't think you can escape through. But one person actually escaped through the border town. So he was a military, and he knew like all of these kind of routes, right? He knew like where to go, and he knew what to do, and he knew what to avoid. But the video is actually online. You can actually look it up, like guy escaping North Korea through the DMZ, driving, you know, like the Jeep, and there are people he was getting shot at, right? He was shot 11 times. But he eventually made it to South Korea side, and he lived.
Next is by sailing to Japan, which is also hard because it's 750 miles away from North Korea.
People do, you know, try to escape through the sea, but it's also, yeah, very difficult.
You could also sail to South Korea by the Yellow Sea, which is also almost impossible because it is heavily patrolled by North Korea. You could also escape North Korea either through Russia and China. However, they would both deport you back. So if you're...
Yes, that is true. Like if you try to go to China or Russia, you would get captured for sure, because both countries are allies of North Korea. But in China, it'll be a little bit more easier than Russia because, right, Russia, white people, right, Europeans, China, Asian people, so you can blend in a little bit better, right? So I've never heard anybody escaping from Russia, unless if that person was sent to work in Russia, right, and then that person escaped from Russian embassy to South Korean embassy, and then escape from there. But I've heard a lot of people escaping from North Korea to China and eventually from China to South Korea. And even now, I'm sure there are hundreds and hundreds of North Korean defectors who's currently living underground in China.
So if you're able to secretly travel across China to Mongolia, you would be sent back to South Korea in freedom. Or you could secretly travel to the southern border of China and then navigate to Thailand, where you would also be deported to South Korea.
Please keep it in mind, he's saying deported to South Korea, right? So here's the reason why. It's because some of the country, actually, they don't recognize North Korea and South Korea as two different countries. So for example, Thai government, right? They don't recognize North Korea and South Korea as two countries, they just recognize this as one, right? So when North Korean refugees comes to Thailand, right? So at least that's how I came to Thailand, is that I came to Thailand and I surrendered myself to Thai police. They captured me and then I went to jail for like 10 days because I did enter Thailand without permission. So they captured me, I voluntarily surrendered, but they put me in court and then they say you cannot enter Thailand for 5 years. Bam, we're going to extradite you back to Korea. So that's how I was supposed to be, right? But I couldn't go to South Korea because my dad was Chinese and that makes me 25% Chinese and my blood is Chinese. Therefore, South Korea couldn't accept me. They didn't accept me, but I'm glad I didn't go to South Korea. But yeah. Hi everyone. If you'd like to help me be a voice to voiceless North Koreans, share my story with more people and get access to some exclusive behind the scenes videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is going to be in the description below.